Hello. Hello. Thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting. If this is your first time with me, please put a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time with me, please put a 1 in the chat. Thank you so much for the hearts. Hey, old school. Thanks for coming in, guys. Listen, I want to talk to you guys about some common mistakes that nonprofit organizations are making, and hopefully you won't make these same mistakes. Hello, hello. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Lady Nova, did you get my message? Hey, thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting. I appreciate you. You're a profit expert, 30, only 30 years of experience. I have worked in the nonprofit organization all of these years. I'm a grant writer, grant researcher, and a grant reviewer. I help nonprofit organizations get the funding that you need for organizational information and organizational sustainability. Okay, guys, so I want to talk to you guys about the 4 common mistakes that nonprofit organizations make when they are starting up. Okay, now these are the things that kind of can hamper us from the challenges that we already are going to face with fundraising and making sure that our organizations are thriving in our communities. The first mistake that many of us make is that we start our organizations without first knowing who else in our community is touching the audience that we are also serving. Okay, so let's say you're serving the homeless, you're serving the elderly, you're serving the needs of the veterans. We start your organizations without first knowing who else in your community is touching that community. All right. Who else in your broader community is also touching that audience? Why is that key? That is key. Listening to you, just listening to your replay on PayPal. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that is pretty amazing, right? $7.3 billion. I tell y'all every day, money is not your problem. Not knowing how to get it is the problem, right? That is an amazing story. And so I'll be reporting for you all on what's happening with that. As I've been following it, they've been talking about it for like maybe 4 or 5 days. They've been talking about it. And today the New York Times just reported that the class action suit has actually been filed. So please be aware. Please be aware if that is something that you are doing. You are so funny, Demanuel. All right, so guys, listen, the first thing that you want to make sure that you don't make the mistake in is not knowing the people in your community who are also serving the target population that you are serving. You may need them as referrals. You may need them to partner and collaborate. You can see me now? Good. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Anyway, you guys, if you've not shared me, please share me. If you've not shared me, please share me. And please and thank you for the hearts. I'm trying so hard to meet 7 million hearts. Only 7 million. You're sounding like the sun. Oh, thank you. It's this lighting. It's kind of weird. I'm in a new place. Thank you guys for inviting and sharing. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much for inviting and sharing. So guys, you want to make sure that you know the people in your community that is serving and touching that same population. One, that's going to also help you to find out how much funding is going for this community, right? For the population that you're serving. By knowing those who are also touching those people in your community, it also gives you a hint of how much money is out there to service that community. That is why you want to know who else. Now, most of us start thinking, this is what I want to do, when we make the assumption that no one else is doing this work in your community. And it could be that they're not doing it in the way you are going to do it. However, you want to make sure that you are not duplicating services and that there is a need, right? Not your want, but that there is a need for your organization in your community, okay? So that's the number one reason or mistake that nonprofit organizations make. That has nothing to do with money, right? That has nothing to do with money. That has to do with, I built something and they didn't need it, and so no one came, all right? We heard of a story recently where someone put $25,000 of their own money into an organization in New York. $25,000 of their own money into a facility in New York, and nobody came. And now they're desperate because they're having to pay all of these fees. They're having to pay rent. They're having to pay expenses. They're having to pay for equipment. And they did not see who else in their community was doing and touching that audience, and no one showed up. They spent $25,000 of their own money, and they did not heed this first warning. All right. So guys, that's your first warning. All right. Making sure that your organization is needed, making sure that you are aware of who else in your community is touching your particular target audience. Okay. Is that clear? You guys ready for number 2? Put a number 2 if you guys are ready for number 2. Put a number 2 if you're ready for number 2. Put a number 2 if you're ready for number 2. I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert. 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. 30 years of experience. Okay. Thank you guys for the 2. Number two is that many people start their nonprofit organization without really understanding all that's involved. Right? We start our organizations thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do great work. Oh my gosh, I'm going to help people. Oh my gosh, I am going to be able to, to feed, to clothe, to shelter, to provide services for, to mentor. I'm going to be able to do great things. But they don't consider that they got to fundraise for this thing. They don't consider that they've got to get a board, that they've got to get communities, partnerships, and collaborations. They don't consider that they're going to need to do more than just do the activity of their organization, that they're going to also have to do the work of their organization, that they're going to have to maintain a budget, that they're going to have to go in and manage a board, that they're going to have to be responsive to. That's your big mistake. Yeah. Most of us start without really understanding what it all involves. All right. All involves. And so that is the number 2 common mistake. So I guys want to make sure that you all understand what's going to happen, right? I come on here every day and I tell y'all, this is what's going to happen, y'all. This is what's going to happen, y'all. This is what's going to happen, y'all. You ain't got no reason not to know what's going to happen in your nonprofit, okay? So number 1 is you start your nonprofit organization without assessing none at all, right? Without knowing what else is going on in your community. I don't see any hearts. I'm trying to make 7 million hearts. You guys help me, I help you, right? That's how the relationship works. Is this a one-sided relationship? I don't think it's a one-sided relationship. I just think y'all be so busy writing notes that you forget, oh man, all she asked for is some hearts. All she asked for is heart. I'm so busy writing notes, I forget the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. I know what's happening. All right. I just got to give you a little nudge and say, hey, in between, put that pencil down. Just tap the screen every now and then. All right. Number three. The number 3 common mistake, guys, is that you don't put together a functioning board. You put together, or people put together, a board in name only. That is the people who say, all I need is 3 people. All you need is 3 people and you can get you a board, right? All you need is 3 people. That's in name only. And that is another common mistake, is that organizations start their businesses without putting together a real board. Now you got a board, and according to your articles and according to your bylaws, right? You're amazing. Well, thank you. According to your bylaws now, you got to keep these people around for a certain period of time. I know we want to fire them. We want to give them the side eye. But listen, we put them there for name only. No, they are there with a function. They are there with a purpose. They are there with an intent, okay? And the common mistake that nonprofit organizations do when they start up is that they put their board in place in name only. You guys give these people 3 names. You don't know these people. They're filing your paperwork for you. They're putting together your articles of incorporation, and they say, hey, I need 3 people. I need the names of 3 people. And then you send them the names of 3 people, and then you got 3 people slapped on your paperwork, and they're not functioning. They're name only. That means they're not helping you fundraise. They're not helping you go out into your community. They don't know how. That's not why they were put there. They were put there for name only. You don't want name only board members. You want board members who have the interest, who have the time, who have the experience, and who have the influence in your community to make sure that your organization has a presence, and that you guys are able to thrive for sustainability. All right? All right, I got to catch my breath. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for number 4? You ready for number 4? You ready for number 4? Are y'all all caught up with your notes? Say, yeah, Jen, I'm ready with my notes. I'm ready with my notes. I'm so right. I know. I have had people call me and say, Jen, I want to fire my whole board. I said, well, what you going to do when they gone? You going to put some more people on there? What you going to tell them to do? I say work with the ones you got. That's what I say. I say work with the ones you got, because at least they know you. At least they have some semblance of idea of knowing what you're trying to do. Now, your job is to be trained so that you can tell them what to do. Otherwise, you're going to get some new people. You got to get them situated. They got to get up to speed with what you're doing. Now, that takes time, right? That takes time. And then you still got to tell them what to do. I say the ones you got, let's just train them. They're here. We might as well just train them. That's what I say. I say that because time is precious, right? Time is precious. All right, number 4. Many of us start our nonprofit organizations without realizing that y'all gonna need some money to run this thing. This joint's gonna need some money. It's gonna need some cash current, all right? It's gonna need some cash. And many of us start our nonprofit organizations with not a ding-dang clue how we gonna fund this beast. We think grants are great. Grants are great. Grants are great. But only 20% of grant proposals are actually reviewed. Only 20%. Yeah, only 20%. And grants only make up about 17% of your budget. I am a grant writer. I am a grant researcher. I am a grant reviewer. I am a professional fundraiser. How long have I been doing this, y'all? Only 30 years. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I done, right? Hey, Cliffhanger, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for inviting. If you've not invited yet, please do so. I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your legitimate, really. I am the only nonprofit expert up in this here piece. I am a nonprofit expert. What's made me the expert? I've done the work. I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars myself. I've put on more events, more special events. I have written for over $70 million in grants myself that I have written, all right? I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've done and how I've trained thousands to do the same, okay? So, when you start your nonprofit organizations, you want to make sure that you have an idea of how you're going to fund this thing. Grants are great, but only 20% of grant proposals are ever reviewed. Why? Because most people don't know how to write a grant proposal. All right? That's why. I give a class on that too, but that's not what we're talking about. All right? A nonprofit that has a weak funding and development strategy at the beginning, if you have a weak fund development or fundraising strategy in the beginning, all right, you might never recover. You may never recover unless you get an expert to help you recover. On your own, you will never recover. You won't know how. You won't know how. You'll spend more time writing grants that represent only 17% of your whole budget as opposed to knowing how to get the 80% of your budget that is non-designated and non-restricted. All right. Grants, you can ask me anything. Grants are restricted generally, all right, designated. You want to make sure that you have a plan for non-restricted, non-designated funds, okay? I know the question then goes to, what about startup, Jen? What about startup? Either way, you're going to need to have money planned. After the startup, there's going to need to be some money. So if, in fact, your nonprofit organization started with your passion, right? I got passion, Jen. I got passion. I've always wanted to do this. I've been called to do this, Lord. The Lord has put this in my heart to do. Yeah. But that ain't going to get you no money, all right? You've got to have a plan with that passion. You got to have a plan with that passion. You got to have a plan with that passion. All right. What's the plan? You've got to have a plan to fundraise. You've got to have a plan to get and identify collaborators and partners. You've got to have a plan to utilize your board to help them understand how they can help you raise not only money, but presence in your community. You need to have a communications plan so that the people in front of you moving forward would help you. All right. Okay. Now, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? These are, guys, the 4 common mistakes that nonprofit organizations make when they start. Now that you are aware of these common mistakes, and if you're thinking about starting your nonprofit, don't make these mistakes. If in fact you've already started your nonprofit and you said, yeah, Jen, I made mistake number 1, mistake number 2, mistake number 3, oh, and yeah, mistake number 4. What do I do now? Hello, Minister. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for coming in. What do I do now, Jen? I think the best thing to do is to get a plan. We need to get you a fund development plan. We need to get you a communications plan. And we need to make sure that your board is helping you. Because if they're not, they are in name only. They are not functioning in the realm of influence that they could. All right? That they could. If you've not shared me, please share me. If you've not invited your followers, I invite you to do so. I am Jennifer Yarbrough. Can you review each 4 points? Please just got to Yes, I will review them for you. The best way for fundraising. There are multiple streams of income, right? There are multiple streams of income. So everything that you do, everything that you do, everything that you do, did I say everything? Everything that you do is built around the premise of how am I getting more partners? How am I getting more collaborators? How am I then leveraging this for more funds? How am I engaging, inviting, informing more people to give me money beyond the fundraisers, okay? Many of us who are driven by fundraisers, right? We may have 3 or 4 a year, and we may spend 3 or 4 months for that one day of activity. Okay, and that activity as a fundraiser, fundraisers, right? Not fundraising. Fundraising is a bigger picture, but fundraisers represent only about 5% of your overall budget. Okay, so that's still a small percent. Fundraisers are only a small percent of your powers. Fundraisers. They could be galas, they could be events, they could be dinners, they could be car washes, they could be tickets, they could be products, they could be all kinds of things. But at the end of you getting a buyer donor, right? A fundraiser says, give me something for this money, right? I give you a ticket. You're buying a ticket, you're buying a dinner, you're buying a cupcake, you're buying a car wash, you're buying something, a buyer. But you want builders. How do you transition those people who bought something into, I need you to give me a check without me giving you a ticket. I need you to consider my value in the organization and the lives that we are touching as worthy of your ongoing gift. So you got to think about buyer donors or builder donors. Nonprofit organizations have a plan for builders, all right? This is your grants. These are your businesses. These are your in-kind. These are your individual gifts. These are your major gifts. These are the different streams of income that you want to make sure that your organization is thinking about. If not, yeah, that might be why you don't have any money, because all we're thinking about is fundraisers. Why? Because that's all I know. That's all I know, Jen. All I know are them galas. All I see, all I get invited to is galas. Is that the only thing they do is galas? No, that's not the only thing that they do. They do a lot more than that. And that only represents a small percentage of their fundraising piece. All right. And in addition to that, that event is tied to what's next on their fundraising plan. That ain't the only thing that's on their fundraising plan. They got something else attached to that as well. All right. Thank y'all for sharing. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting. I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert. 30, only 30 ding dang years of experience. I am going over the 4 most common mistakes that nonprofit organizations make when they start their nonprofits. Okay, we're back to number 1. Number 1 is in terms of review. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for sharing and inviting. And thank y'all for these hearts. Listen, there's enough of y'all in here that if y'all all gave me 1,000 hearts, I'd be at my 7 million goal. I'd be at my 7 million goal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, number 1. The number 1 is you all want to make sure that you are building and crafting your nonprofit organization, knowing what else is happening in your community. Nonprofit organizations start without really identifying the need, right? The need is boss. The need is boss, okay? So nonprofit organizations that start for passion's sake. I'm passionate about this, Jen. I feel like this is what's going to happen. I feel like I should have had this when I was going through blah, 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 all right? Passion is not the plan. And you all want to know who else in your community is doing this work. This is going to help you structure your services. This is going to help you structure who you're going to refer to or receive referrals from. All right. So you want to make sure that you are knowledgeable about who else is working in your community on this particular audience. If it's homeless, if it's veterans, if it's feeding, if it's mentoring, if it's coaching, blah, blah, blah. All right. You want to know who else is touching this audience. It's also going to give you a clue as to where the funding is for this audience. If you all are doing this, all right, I'm scared you'll block me for a legitimate question. Well, if it's a legitimate question, you won't get blocked. If it's a little off topic, you might get blocked. Take a chance. Take a chance. Take a chance. You want to make sure that you are aware of what else and who else is in your community, and that will also give you a key as to what are the other funding opportunities for this audience, okay? That's number 1. You guys got number 1? You understand number 1? Number 1. You ready for number 2? Tell me if you're ready for number 2. I know you guys are taking notes. All right? The number 2 mistake is that we start our nonprofit organizations without really being aware of how difficult it is, okay? I won't take a chance because you'll mess up my Periscope. I won't mess up your Periscope. I'll just block you. You'll be on Periscope. All right. You want to make sure that you are starting your nonprofit organization, all right? And you've thought about all that's involved. You've thought about the funding. You've thought about who else in your community that you need to partner with, collaborate with. You've identified the people who might be strong leaders for your organization and to help you lead this organization, all right? You want to be realistic that because you have passion, that is not going to get you any money. Passion is not going to get you any money. Passion is not going to get you any money. People support impact. Thank y'all for them beautiful hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those hearts. Thank you for those hearts, right? Passion ain't gonna make nobody write no check. And listen, many of us don't really even know how to invite, inform, engage people to come, all right? Passion is not going to get you any money. Donors give for impact. In fact, they give you money to do the work that they can't do. They don't have the time to do. They don't have the expertise to do. So they give the money to nonprofit organizations to do that work, right? And if in fact you are not doing that work, guess what? They're not giving you that money. All right. So number 2 is make sure that when you are putting together your nonprofit organization, that you are knowledgeable about what it takes to not only deliver your program activities, right? You're not just feeding, you're not just clothing, you're not just housing, you're not just mentoring. That is not all that your nonprofit does. Your nonprofit has to run a board, all right? It has got to put together budgets. It's got to account for the money that comes into the organization. It's got to raise money. It's got expenses. This program is a greedy beast. This program is a greedy beast. All right. All this feeding, all this mentoring, all this coaching, all this housing, all this is greedy. It's greedy. You need finances, right? This is an expense. That means your organization has got to be aware of income. You better make you some money, and I mean you better make a lot of it, all right? The question is, can nonprofits make money? You better make a lot of it, all right? A lot of it, as much as you can, all right? So glad you found me. Listen, all right? Listen, y'all better understand. Y'all know, y'all been trying to run this nonprofit out of your pocket. Y'all been trying to run this nonprofit out of your pocket. Y'all know this thing is greedy. This thing will eat up your money and everybody else's, okay? You have tried it. I know. Stop. Just stop. Program is greedy. It is an expense. You've got to also understand income. How do we get money? Fund development. This is my little triangle. We got program. We got to have finances. We got to have fund development. All right? Fund development. So you all need to make sure that when you are starting your nonprofit, all right? Oh my gosh, I gotta keep this thing entertaining because I know it's overwhelming. I know people are like, oh my God, Jen, I'm just so down. Oh my gosh, Jen, I'm so depressed. Oh my God, Jen. I'm like, oh, lighten up. There's ways around this, all right? I've been doing this for 30 years, y'all. I have gone to the Appalachians of Tennessee. I have gone to the Dakotas on the Indian reservations. I've gone to Hot Coffee, Mississippi. I've gone to Thailand. I have trained in every state in the United and international, all right? Y'all got to know, I got to keep my humor about this because some of this stuff that you guys tell me is like, whew, such a downer. Let's pick it up. Let's pick it up. How about we have some fun? I say we have some fun running our nonprofits. I've been doing this thing for 30 years, and I'm still excited about it. After 30 years of doing the work, I'm still excited, all right? You cannot say I did. You pulled your weight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the hearts, the shares, the invites. Okay, so we got number 2. You guys are clear about number 2. Number 2. Now we're going on to number 3. Number 3 most common mistake. Number 3 most common mistake is that we put a board in place in name only. Do not name your friend. Do not name your sister. Do not name your mother. Don't name nobody you know unless they're willing to work. All right. What does work mean? Work means helping me fundraise, not set up tables, not put out flyers, not go show up on the day of the event and help me move stuff. That is not what the board is supposed to do. All right. Thank you for inviting followers. I appreciate you. Many of you start your nonprofit organizations and you put your board in place in name only. What does that mean? That means you've put people in place who cannot help you strategize. Strategize about how to move your organizations forward in your community. Cannot help you strategize on ways to raise income. They are not there to write you a check for $100 every month. That is not their job. All right. It's great. We will cash that check, but that is not why they're there, okay? They should help you. They should help you create and implement a plan. They should be recruiting, they should be developing, and they should be governing your nonprofit organization, all right? If these people that you have put in on your board as name only, they can't help you do none of that, the quickest thing to do is to train them. That's the quickest thing to do. Because I know we look at them with the side eye and want to fire them. That then means I got to go out and get another group of people that I got to bring into my board. I got to figure out how to tell them, get them caught up. And then we sitting here at the same place. Because if you as the leader don't know what to look for in a board member, you're going to go out and get 3 more that look like the last 3 you fired. I'm just saying. It's a trend. When we know better, we do better. When we know better, we do better. All right. So make sure that you are not putting people on your board in name only. They are not there to run your program. They are not there to run your program. Operations and governance separate. Operations and governance separate. They have a significant role that is not a part of your day-to-day. All right. That is a third common mistake that nonprofit organizations make, is that you guys don't understand the role of your board and the power that they have in your community in terms of, hey, I'm a board member. Hey, I am the president of the board. Y'all, but let me help y'all now. Number four. Hello. God bless you. Number four. Y'all ready for number four? Number four common mistake. Can the board still participate in the day-to-day activities? They should not participate in the day-to-day. No. Hey, Virginia. Now, let me say why. Because now they can't govern what they run. And in terms of the day-to-day, they, according to your bylaws, are only there for a period of time. And then they're going to roll off. And then you're going to have to bring in new people. So do not put in their hands day-to-day stuff, and they're not going to be there. Now, if they don't no longer want to be on the board and they want to continue to volunteer for your organization, as a volunteer, that is so appropriate. But even then, you want to make sure that the work that you give them as a part of your day-to-day, okay, if it's a volunteer situation, is part of your day-to-day, that they're helping you with different functions, right? But your board, you do not want them a part of your day-to-day. Because, see, that's how they get all caught up and make decisions for you as the executive leader. And that's not their job. Their job is to oversee the monies that are coming into your organization and to make sure that your organization is stewarding the public dollars in the best way, that you're living up to your mission, that you are representing the public dollars well, and that you are on budget. That's their job. The state cannot do it. The state cannot do that. That is why the state says we need you to put something in place to manage these public dollars that are coming into your organization. That's the role of the board, all right? They are there for governance. They are there for strategic planning and recruitment, all right? And to make sure that your organization is maintaining its mission integrity. Not the day-to-day. Not recommended. It is not done. Okay? Yeah, most people do it because they think it's free labor. I want a board and I want free labor. They should be helping me. Free labor. They should be helping me. Free labor. No. No and no. No and no. All right? There are things that they can help you with that is not inside that organization that will serve you better if they were trained how to help you outside that organization, all right? Because your program is not bringing you any money, okay? The people in your program are not writing you any checks. The people who are being serviced by you are not writing you any checks, all right? Your board members should come from a community that they have influence, that they have relationships, they have the time, they have the expertise to bring support into your organization, all right? Because again, the people that are getting services from you, they not writing any checks. So why would you have all of your volunteers focused on inside work and not outside work? Inside work, not outside work, okay? Does that make sense? Give me some hearts if that makes sense. Put a 2 up if that's like, nah, Jen, you lost me, all right? Is that Jennifer? Good to see you, sis. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for coming in. All right, guys, you ready for number 4? Number 4 common mistake that nonprofit organizations, Number 4 common mistake that nonprofit organizations make is that you start without thinking about where you're going to get your money. Where is your funding going to come from? Where are the resources going to come from? And if you start your nonprofit without this development plan in place, you are going to maintain weak funding throughout the life of your nonprofit. More than likely, you're paying for everything out of your pocket. You do not have a fundraising plan. You do not have an idea other than grants how you're going to fund your organization. And as a result of that, you are not growing. Why? Because you do not have a fundraising plan. You do not have a strategy to get the money in. Every single organization that has been around more than 4 years, 2 years, they had a strategy before they started. All right. Now, what do you do now? Jen, I'm in this thing now. I'm in this thing now. I done got 2 years in, 3 years in, 4 years in, 5 years in, 10 years in. What do I do? Put together a strategy. How about we do that? How about we put together a real strategy? Grants are great. Grants are great. But grants only may represent about 17% of your budget. How about we need to now get another 83%? Where's the other 83% coming from? Non-designated, non-restricted. That's what you got to do. You got to put together a strategy, and then you've got to engage your board, your volunteers, your donors, your collaborators on how to live out that strategy. Hey, Josh, thank you so much for inviting. I appreciate you, sir. All right, guys, thank you for inviting. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for the hearts. I'm trying to get to 7 million hearts, y'all. That's all I want. That's all I want. For everything I pour out into you, all I want is 7 million hearts. That's it. I don't want nothing else. We can stop after 7 million. Are y'all there? I don't know what happened. The whole thing just went black. Am I back? Am I back? Put a 1 if I'm back. Put a 2 if I'm not. Put a 1 if I'm back. Can y'all see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? I don't think you can see me. All right, I'm going to close this down and come back.